Warning. This show may contain nickel, peanuts, and or D's nuts. And also possibly the most deadly protein known to hipsters and hypochondriacs, gluten. Also warning to phenylketonuria that Anksty's point of view is definitely contaminated with phenylalanine. Use caution, protection, and a sense of humor as needed.
So cold in here.
No one tells us what to do, man.
But we've now hit the zeitgeist of memes. I mean, sure, they've always had fun with things I do that are silly, and I certainly enjoy it. Please make more goofy memes of yours truly. I love it. I see people through walls, through up to 2 feet of concrete. It's real great to have radiation beams shooting up and down the street. I'm going to take real good care of you. You understand me? You are obsolete. Exterminate. Exterminate. Join the Borg. Hail Russia! We will never surrender! Scanning. Control. Manipulate scientific data. Take over. Come to daddy. You can blow some stuff up and shoot some people here. Come. Join us. 10 people were on top of me, and I just savagely exploded, and I just devastated them. Your planet is under my control. Excuse me, I was having a malfunction.
Welcome to tonight's controversial Plumes of Hazard. I'm MassBlast09.
Plumes of Hazard.
These are my co-hosts. We have Blasted Out of His Mind, Fubaka.
Hi.
And an angstful vapor, Shalansa. As a matter of fact, Angsty, how's the weather been over there?
It's launch about fucking hot. The last couple of days have been about 40,000 degrees outside. I caught on fire when I was out and around this last weekend.
You look it.
Yeah. But this is the same camera settings. Like, what the fuck is on my eyelid?
What? You taking a mess? You forgot to take all the mascara off?
I forgot to take my mascara off. No, you know what it is? So you remember that that metal plate that I've got in the crotch of my L desk, right? Which is where I sit here. It's so old. How old is it?
How old is it?
Thanks. Normally I have to do it myself, and I appreciate you looking out.
I got you.
So it's so old. It's all the black shit starting to come off of it. So now I probably scratched my eye or something after having my hand on there because like the black flecks of shit are coming off of there, and I can't find one. So I don't even know if I can find an example. Do you remember there was this thing? I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago where like Office Max and all those kind of places were putting out like black, faux leather things with like white stitching around it. That was like the style or whatever, right? That's when I got this thing. And I can't for the life of me find another like angled corner desktop thing like this. I can't find another one. I've been looking for one for a while. I haven't looked again recently, but I came up totally empty last time I looked for it. I don't know where to get something like this. I wish I had something for it because it's nice to have.
Some would say kind of like your soul, right? Totally empty.
Black, white stitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, so if some people are trying to figure out what kind of we are alluding to here, we got some heat for last week's video and some of the information that we, put out there. And guess what? Who gives a fuck? Because that's what we do. I can't sit
Fuck
here.
you. Buy our juice.
Exactly.
I can't sit here and tell you that our wonderful advertisers and people who pay us to be on this show told us something, because we don't have any. And
well, and fuck us for trying to find both sides, right? Everybody heard on the one guy's side. I was trying to find the other guy's side and kind of bring them together. And this is what I think.
Yeah, and it, for some of you who are kind of into vaping like we are now, and have years and years of conventional vaping history.
How many years is it now, Fu?
It's millennium.
I don't know, man. I've lost count at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking about the kidney puncher video that was done and put up, and again, we just want to cover every side of everything. So I guess when you're on trying to cover the other side, that means that you back them 100% and fuck the other guy.
Fuck the other guy. There's only one side of this whole thing.
One side, and that's not how we work. So
the right side of righteousness, right? Holy wars.
So I think I know exactly what the problem is people don't get the drama from here, because you either like it or not. We're not going to sit here and fucking start shit with other people or anything. So
I'm always fully willing to refund the amount of money that you paid to watch the show every fucking time.
But that's literally, it's just a surge, right? The drama goes away and then it comes back. And when it comes back, man.
Well, as the great early 21st century scholar Lil Jon once said, "Don't start no shit. There won't be no shit."
Won't be no shit.
Damn right.
So
you got it.
Words to live by.
Yeah. Thank you, Lil Jon.
Hey, what you vaping on?
Whoa.
Just jump right in on there, fool.
Fucking backdoor curveball right there.
Surprise.
I'm waiting for the you look like a broke ass Mexican Superman's.
You just look like a
fixed. That humidity though.
It's coming back, baby. You can't get rid of it.
Can't get rid of it.
Can't help it.
I got a K-Fun with paste in it on a 250C with that. Wait. 1 second. How does it show up? Playing yourself.
Click on you. There you go. Look at that.
Playing yourself. I'm playing myself.
Oh, you didn't change the theme on there, did you?
No, I'm a simple bitch. Beep. So there's that. K-Fun 5, master race. Narda with abolishment on the Limo. And I got the dong fluid in the drop.
That is one of the better names that I've heard of recent.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. Got it.
Mohead's saying that the video's out of sync with chat, but is it more than normal?
X1 if you're out of sync. Right, here we go.
F to pay respects to our subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually like 30, 35 seconds.
Yeah, typically. Now I can that's something that I can affect, right, when I create it, but right now I've got it on normal, which is what I usually have on, which is the best video quality. And
yeah, I mean that's about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. There is and then obviously like the near real time one is the video quality suffers, and I'm not sure exactly how much because I don't think we've ever done that before. But there is a middle ground, and I've never tried that either. Maybe that's
whatever our delay is now. It's not that. It's definitely not 30 seconds anymore. Because I've noticed people react a little quicker than I expected. Chat.
Yeah.
Max or gay. Let's see how long that takes.
Is that all your setups there, Boop? Nice. For me, this week has mostly been spent on that other secret one, and then my gloom. Narca on top, Omen tip, rail cracker inside. As always, Robert key coil in there too. Still got the original one. I haven't had to replace it yet, but I'm wondering if it may be time. It's after so many rewicks, even a thick, chunky, try-hard coil like that gets a little, a little stretched out a little bit. And I've massaged it back into place a couple of times, but it's still there. The other thing that I've been toying with again is this guy. So a kind hooligan did send this along. Festy sent me his GP Paps X. I've got it running in 350 mode here with a Squape E on top. Another little Omen tip, and I don't remember what Fu calls it, but I've got a three quarters abolishment and a 1/4 get pissed.
Limeade and a piston. No, that's the other one.
Yeah, what's the abolishment and the piss one?
I don't know. I never really vaped that one too much. I don't think I even came up with a name for that, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe not.
Limeade and a piston. That's like my pinnacle.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, though. You should try that. Limeade and a piston.
Well, these are the two that I always mix when I want fruity
abolishment and pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to think about that one.
Yeah. Like pistament?
Yeah, that's what was going in my head, a pistament.
Anyway, but that's what's going through here. I have done a little bit more of this, and I'm going to talk about this mod in a little bit. So this is the DNA 75C version of the Therion bottom feeder. I got a Haku Phenom on top, one of my older Omen tips on there, just because why not? But I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. We don't talk about that right now. Masty.
I got the 250C also with El Pindad in not squonk mode, just regular tank on the bottom. And I have Mass T in here. I switched it up because I've been doing a test with replay on here, and I'm just wondering. We'll talk about it more later, but yeah, that's what I'm vaping on. So I'll bring up the question later. So I
mean, I want to talk about replay too.
All right, you want to talk about it now?
Yeah.
I think right. So here's the one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if you've ran into this yet, but I have left this mod by itself for about 24 hours. And the first time I did it, it was right after I picked it up, after leaving it for at least 24 hours in the same spot, not moving it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's off the first fire or what, but from what Brandon explained with replay, that puff is going to be the same over and over and over and over. So yes. I wonder if the board goes to into a sleep mode or something like that, because that's what I was testing is, hey, if I pick this up cold, sitting there, not doing anything, and hit it, is it going to hit just like it was? Now,
well, there's a couple of answers, because I ran in. Are you saying that it's too hot? The first drag is hot?
No.
Okay.
Man's not hot. First drag is cold.
Okay. So I had the opposite problem. When I would leave it sitting for a while and go back to it, I felt like it got way too hot too fast. Now, if you go into eScribe and look under the profile for your replay enabled profile, there is a slider for warmth or boost, one or the other. Actually, both I think are there. Anyway, the point is, if you adjust that will adjust the ramp at which it gets to those things faster. And mine was actually set too warm, and I felt like it was not exactly
my
the same.
warmth is set right. Here, I'll show you. I'll put it up on the screen. Look on me. My warmth is set there.
Yeah, so bump that up a little bit. That was
okay, but see, warm. I mean, I when it was warm and the warmth was up higher, it was, going a little too much. So I'll crank it up a little bit. I'll crank that Soldier Boy
just a bit
there.
I had bumped mine quite a bit higher because I thought at first that it would just get there faster. And what it ended up happening is, to me anyway, it got too hot too fast, and then it never quite. It took a little time for it to settle back down. So I pulled that down a little bit, and then I haven't seen that spike since then.
Okay. Yes,
but it's a good question because that was one I just had the opposite problem. But
see, I'm also wondering too. Cold juice, cold coil, cold, cotton.
Mm-hmm.
Versus you've been hitting it, it's gonna. I still think it's gonna perform differently, And again, they're not advertising replay as, oh, as soon as you pick this up, it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna continue doing the same puffs that you've been doing, no matter what, temperature is doing and stuff like that. So,
well, I think there's a few fine data points that it can't measure.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because, like, for example, your whole addy's temperature, right? Your coil may not be changing much temperature, but your whole addy is going to be sucking a little bit of heat out until the whole thing gets a little warmer. So I think it might be a little bit different. I bet if you took that thing and you vaped it and it was a little too cool, but you vaped it for 5 minutes, it would be back exactly the way it was before.
Oh, it was back the way it was within like a minute.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And that's what I was assuming. I think that's all there's to it, because mine is irritatingly the other way, right? Mine got way too warm, which took longer to dissipate that heat and get it back down to where it was before. So what I ended up doing when that happened is actually turned it off of replay, vaped it for a little bit until it got to where I wanted it again, and just saved it again. Either which are easily solvable, but you do have to see, that is a thing in eScribe.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with, like, if you're set up for just straight temperature, right? You pick it up at first, it's going to be a little weird.
Sure.
Well, for me, I just got that, that not Canthal pop my first hit.
Oh yeah, Canthal thing, or that haven't hit the dripper in a while thing, right? So where it pow goes.
Well, yeah, more so with like nichrome or stainless, I get that pop, like that crackle-ackle factor, as Josh Wilson would say.
Yeah,
I haven't brought him up in a bit. I wonder what he thinks of replay.
If it's not always delivering 12 volts, I doubt he cares.
Dude, this thing goes to 400 watts. This thing's totally up his alley. Well, he's gonna build a fucking suitcase mod that he can vape all day with.
I know that I know Duro's talking in chat about my vape works fine and stuff like that, but you could see what Evolve is doing here. Way ahead of it is there's going to come a point in time, whether they keep pushing it down the road or not, that companies are going to be required to say, I can guarantee that this person won't be able to burn this juice if that's what they're going after, or have a dry hit, or burn the cotton, or do any of that. And the only way you can back that shit up is with years and years of data.
Mm-hmm.
E6 Stats has been collecting data forever, and their devices can do that. So
hold on.
The way I
oh, by the way, I didn't get to talk about this. Somebody asked a question that said, "Does Angsty really keep a tinfoil hat right next to him?"
Yes, he does.
This was, I don't even remember what joke this was. This was years ago. Anyway, but yes, this thing has been sitting over here next to me for the last couple of years. Just gotta pull it out every now and then.
So the way I see it, doing replay is far less finicky than getting attempts up. Just by watching Angsty and how much time I spent watching him trying, like, doing nickel builds and getting him set up and what have you.
A million years.
Like, fuck that, right? Fuck that with a 10-foot pole.
I tried real hard on that shit.
And that's the thing. I'm glad that was like, I never ventured into that. And replay, honestly, I consider myself a relatively lazy vapor, right?
Yeah.
Like, building is like pulling teeth for me. So replay didn't involve me deviating too far out of my path to try out, at least, right? And if I'm vaping regulated, I'm going to be vaping on Evolve shit anyway. So this is like some cool shit I figure to try out if you have a C mod.
Yeah, it's true.
It's, just...
And it's cool that it's firmware that added this functionality, quite a bit after the fact, right? Because the C's been out for quite some time.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly a small amount. That's not exactly a small feature. If that's something that you enjoy, that's a pretty huge thing to just kind of have added onto your mod suddenly, right? The people have been using a 75C for however many months.
Yeah, I mean, Canthal still has its place. It'll still probably be my primary wire, but I'm relatively sold because the last time I tried stainless wire, I think Dear Addy had sent me coils, and they were great Claptons. I think they were fused Claptons. Put them on the mech. Did not like them in mech mode whatsoever. Didn't like the flavor, what have you. But this one, this tastes pretty. It was right where I like it. And every so often when I wake my cave on, like the first like hour I'm vaping it, I'll probably get a dry hit, just because it's just what happens.
Yeah.
I still have the same wick in here from last Monday, so my wick should have been changed by now. But it's still vaping good. I haven't had anything remotely close to a dry hit since I've been running replays, so I'm pretty sold on it so far.
It works pretty well. Massey, have you enjoyed it in general besides the temperature thing when you've left it for a day?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, really, that's just a feedback thing. You know, it's not really a bad thing. I think it works great. You know.
And yeah, what I was just say is if you want, like, if you're gonna try it out, do it with an Addy that you know.
Yes,
exactly.
It's the best way to try anything, like when you want to try a new juice or what have you.
Addy that you know and juice that you know.
I don't have a 75C Squonker to try it out on a Squonker, but I feel like tanks for me would be the most important place to try it. RTAs, because you don't.
When I was first testing it on the 250C, the first thing I built was a titanium build in the Skyline, the tank, because I thought the same as you. I was like, that would be really useful there. And it was all right. But the problem is with the tank, or at least with that kind of tank, and the K-Fun fits in the same sort of thing, is it's a relatively low power tank, right? Lower airflow, just does better a little bit lower. I don't know. I didn't feel like I got a whole lot out of it, and I feel like the experience was better as a dripper, personally. Like I really like that quite a lot. Oh fuck!
Holy shit!
Who the hell let this guy in?
Who's still hidden?
God.
So you were hidden, and yet we could hear you and see you.
Hidden.
Yeah, no. Normally you can't. I don't know how he just managed to hack that, but welcome a little unexpectedly, Mr. Buttery Mooch.
Is that his dong in the corner of the frame that's just wagging back and forth? What is that?
Correct.
No, the bottom left of the frame. That's your headphone wire.
Welcome, Mooch. You know, here's the best thing. This fucker's got Patreons out the ass, and he's still using that shitty ass hat with those shitty ass headphones and microphones. You know, his videos look so beautiful, and then he comes on this show and he's like, "Well, I'm going to this shit show."
Oh yeah, he's going on a low budget ass show.
By the time you're on your third Lambo, the rest doesn't matter.
I don't know what you're talking about either, Matthew. I love his hat. I think his hat's awesome. That is trademark.
No, I didn't really mean to add the hat in there.
Mooch, are you that asshole that drives around Soho in the mirror Lambo during rush hour, just revving your engine
with a wife beater and boxes
and gold chains? Gold chains. So let's finish up what we're talking about, and then we'll engage old Moocherama. So to me, I really did feel like the replay thing really started to shine a little bit more in a Squonker, and more specifically, in a dripper, and more specifically in a Squonker.
Yeah.
But there's been one thing with replay that has stood in my way of really liking it, and it's got nothing to do with Evolve. And it's got everything to do with this thing. I think this thing is really kind of neat in a lot of ways. Lost Vape in general makes really nice stuff at a pretty reasonable price.
That paranormal, or
this is the Therion BF.
That's BF, okay.
35C. Yeah. That's their other one, right? That's the non-Squonker, I think, right?
Yeah. I blanked out on the Squonk. Sorry.
No, it's basically the same mod, right?
All the exhaust noise from the Lamborghinis that kind of fries my brain for a little while. So.
that does happen. So the thing that's driving me crazy about this has got nothing to do with the mod or the board or the addy or the juice. It's got everything to do with that. This bottle has been driving me nuts. Oh. I can't get it. And well, here's the problem too. So there's two problems. One of my shims just fell out, by the way. So there's two problems. The first problem is that, and I'm going to zoom up and show you.
You've officially triggered Will in chat in 5, 4.
Probably
30 seconds.
Probably so. Oh, what? That little fucking spacer thing just fell out. That's not even what I'm pissed about. And I want to find what would be a good example. What would be a good example? I don't have something very handy that would be a good example. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. This is the problem right there. That is the pin that you seat the your tube in.
Is that split?
And you see how small that is. Now, it does go in there a little bit ways, which is good. That's one problem. And that's not even really the biggest problem, but that is one problem. This is the other problem, is that seal where that tube comes out of. I've already had to replace the tubing once to something that made it a little bit better. But it still leaks. Like if I plug this with my finger and squeeze, look.
What if that seal wasn't kissed by a rose?
It was definitely not kissed by a rose. So that, to me, when you have a squonker, if you have a leak in your siphon system, no matter where it is infuriating that you can't squonk, and I definitely have juice go up to your atomizer. It's really, really drives me crazy. It's frustrating because, and this is one of the like features about replay that I think is really good is it watches your coil, right, with a variety of parameters, and if you've run out of an excess of juice, right, it starts scaling the power back pretty steeply, right? Your voltage curve goes way down real fast if you don't have an excess of juice on that thing. And I've seen other guys, and who was it? It was DJ LSB. I saw him. I saw a piece of his interview with Brandon. And they were both vaping on a coil that was empty of juice, right? They had vaped it white, right? They had vaped it back down to nothing. When I've found personally with the replay thing, as soon as you can see a little streak of white come out of your cotton, the power goes way down, and my flavor goes to nothing.
Yeah,
like just it's gone, and that's okay, right? It's protecting your wick. I'm okay with it, but the thing is, I want to be able to immediately put juice back in it so that my vape tastes good. I don't want to just taste a little bit of VG that I'm aerosolizing. I want it back to my rail grinder. I want it back to whatever I'm vaping, right?
Here's a fix.
Yeah.
You get your bottle of juice, take the top cap off of your Addy, you take that juice.
I don't want to have to
put the top cap.
I hear that's the latest teenage craze because you get to drip.
You get the drip. I don't want to. I've got a bottle built in. I just want to squeeze it and have juice magically flood up.
Yeah, you could squeeze it. Just have to do it from the top. You know, it's opposite day.
You're right. I triggered Will, by the way. He said, "Fine, we'll fucking trade mods." I don't want to trade mods.
Dude, I almost called that down to like the second too.
You were pretty good. Anyway, so that's status. And Sick Boy just said no taste is still a crap ton better than dry head. I completely agree. That's what I feel like I mitigated my statement by saying I'm glad that it does that, but I want to be able to correct it and go back to vaping happy again, right, with the full flavor of my juice. And I think that's going to do. I do have an eye at some point, and I don't know what's going to come, but I do have an eye on another squonker that takes regular size bottles, and it'll, you know, I'll be able to replace the bottle if I need to. Right now, I can't really replace that one. Well, I guess I could. Can you just buy the Therion bottles somewhere? I have to admit, I haven't looked.
Yeah, I believe so. I know for sure you can get them on Fast Tech. Just
gotta say, they gotta have Therion style bottles. Or
no, they sell the authentic Therion bottles.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Well, good. I'm sure that could be fixed. Like I said, this has got really nothing to do with Lost Vape because I do think they make a good product. I do think for the price point, this thing's fucking like it's really heavy duty. It's cool. It's got some flaws which I've gone over before, but that bottle is infuriating. It drives me nuts, and that really has impacted my enjoyment of the of that whole 75C thing a little bit. Anyway, was there anything else you want to talk about replay, boys, before we go on?
I like it.
That's it.
Okay. So, as everybody should know, this is Battery Mooch. And I'm going to click on him so you can see his bright and shiny face. Look at that.
This is his first time coming on. So,
by the way, is that like a Dino Adidas shirt? What is that? Kaiju. Nice. I kind of like the Adidas idea, though. It's like Dino Adidas.
I think that was part of the...
Yeah, that's sort of the idea. Okay, so for those of you that literally have been living under a rock for like what the last 2 or 3 years that you've been doing these things, 3 years, will you please introduce yourself and let people know who you are?
Mooch.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mooch. What's he do?
I drive Lambos. Duh.
He drives Lambos and wife beaters. Well done. Is that
and he throws batteries into the sewer while he's passing by in his Lambo
in order to grow kaiju?
Actually, I just drive past the sanitation department headquarters and chuck my batteries out the window, figuring they can recycle them.
Yeah, that's part of their job, right? Their sanitation.
It's my tax dollars at work here.
That's right. I pay your salary, bitch. Recycle my batteries.
And that's what the Lambo is for, because they all hop in their little, Ford sedans and try to catch up to you to give you a ticket, and up the West Side Highway, and whoosh.
You're right.
Okay, humor me, Mooch. You're in an action movie, right? In your Lambo. You turn corner, you swing out, you throw like a giant ass lipo out the window, right? Right as it lands on your enemies, you shoot it with a nail gun. Boom. Short batteries on the fools.
Yeah, it works out good 4S 5000 mAh battery pack, couple of kilos of lithium depth. Yeah.
The Mooch Porter.
I'm gonna call Jason Statham and we're gonna work on a new movie together. Transporter 9.
So I just saw the thing flipping past the corner of his screen that you saw earlier, Fu.
I think it's his headphone wire.
It's his headphone wire. Look, it just got.
I figured that out earlier. He was just like,
That's what it is. It flipped back. It looked like a dog tail. Like it looked like a dog. He had a dog underneath you a little bit, wagging his tail. That's awesome. Okay, so besides the Lambos, what are you doing? What are you doing on the internet as vapors?
I test batteries for the vaping community a lot of my spare time. I've been trying to go full time with that recently with a Patreon drive, and coming out of a almost 3 decade of experience with power electronics that use batteries, or I developed products for batteries and just applied some of that testing methodology to testing batteries for vapors and other communities and stuff like that. The lightsaber community, a little bit for that, and some others. You get contacted by other people. And occasionally branching out into mods, other things that might interest me or might be battery related, because I have the test gear and I enjoy doing the testing, which is why I wanted to go full time too. And I'm digging, even 3 years later, I'm still digging the work. You find that the amazing gems like the Samsung 30T, and then you get to, expose the total dogs that are trying to, rip off vapors, and it's always pretty cool.
Did you do you have any? I assume you have some crossover with like the RC community, right?
Not much, because they're primarily lipos, and there's some really established names in the RC community. Okay. I'll be doing some lipo testing next month, just stuff that you'd see in DNA mods and stuff like that. Pretty specific form factors and sizes and voltages and stuff. But the RC community is so well entrenched. It was something I was much more involved with about 10 years ago, because I developed one of my battery dischargers to extend the capabilities of one that was on the market for the RC community. And so a lot of things came out of that, and seeing what end users wanted in testing and stuff like that, kind of pulled some of that into vapors, and vapors went, no, we don't give a damn about that. What about this? And you adapt, and you start to find out what people want. And the shootouts are really popular. I never even considered doing that. I figured, no, just look at the data. No, that doesn't happen. Do it.
And people want to shoot out. Get out of those fucking batteries too. I mean, you could say that you pull from a battery in a vape device, pretty hard, but it takes. You're not taking it every 5 minutes and just fucking chucking it. Well, unless you're dog mods, but you're chucking it across the room and letting it land on the battery over and over and over and over, and then expect that battery to work just fine, and the ohm readings to be perfect on that battery. So yeah.
There's an awful lot. A lot more going on that I think people realize with batteries, and they say, internal battery mods are totally safe. And I'm like, except that you can never see the battery.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't puncture them, dude.
Yeah. The eating part is out, and
which one was it? Was it the who was that? Was it Dot Mod's mod that was puffing up?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and they were having the issue with them sitting for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
So they were telling them to get them off the shelves. So,
yeah,
you couldn't see the fucking battery, right? You couldn't like do a visual check.
Yeah, they drew those things. The 200-watt Dot Mod box drew a lot of current when it was totally off, relatively a lot, 120 microamps.
Right.
That'll drain a battery in 5 or 6 months, or a half-charge battery, which is what they were shipping with. So you have to top them off. And it's little things like that. They can put in the manual. Hey, you must charge this thing every 2 months if it's in storage or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I feel like the first time we had you on, which was like 2 years ago, I feel like there was something that we discussed about this, but I don't recall what it is off the hand. But is there a specific reason why they ship the cells half charged? Is it just because that nominal voltage is just where that battery wants to sit for long-term storage?
No, there are two primary reasons. Number one, it's a lot less volatile. There's a lot more energy in the battery. So if anything goes wrong, there's a lot less energy being dumped into the short circuit or whatever happens.
Whatever happened, yeah.
And then the other reason is that batteries don't like being fully discharged or fully charged.
Right.
There's different self-degradation or accelerated aging at either extreme. They really like hanging around about their nominal voltage, which is one reason why it's called the nominal voltage.
Sure.
On that level.
If that's the case, then why exactly are there so few battery chargers that will charge up to? Because I think we talked about this too. Charge up to like 4.1, as opposed to 4.2. Is this a global battery conspiracy between the battery makers and the charger makers?
Well, yes, but I get a cutback from that, so I'm not at liberty to respond.
You could find out by going to his Patreon.
My highest level patrons are told all the secrets.
Okay, that's good.
The truth is out there at 15.
Yeah, well, number one, most people aren't thinking battery life. They're thinking overall battery life. They're thinking, I want my batteries to run as long as possible. So they want 4.2. If they were given the option to charge at 4.3, 4.5, a lot of people would hit that button and go, it's okay. I can take a little bit of a chance here.
Sure.
And if I can get an extra one pull out of this thing, I'll risk my life. But it's going to 4.1.
It's funny that you say that too, Anxie, because like, when's the last time you've seen one of the those chargers? Well, I take that back because I see it more with the lipos. With like for example, this is a really nice low cost charger that I have for lipos and RC and stuff like that, and it gives you an option to do a storage charge when you have the lipo. So it takes a lot of the guesswork on where you have to set it and all that stuff. You don't really see that with the Lions and everything else. We're
not as technically. Most RCers are much more technically interested and exposed to a lot more tech. They have to be for what they're doing. So I think they're much more willing to go, storage voltage versus 4.1 volt charge voltage versus 4.2, and they even use 4.35 volt cells. For the people who want extra 50
versus this thing's fucking charged already.
Yeah. And
I feel like there was a charger that did that would charge to 4.1 or 4.15 or something. I don't recall what it was.
I think a couple of the new smarter analyzing chargers let you do that, the $60, $70 ones. But I don't know if any of the other lower cost ones. I think that I bet you for the manufacturers, and you have to realize what's good for us and what we may want has very little to do with what a lot of manufacturers are going to release.
Sure.
So for them, a lot of it's going to be reducing customer support costs and things like that. And if you have only a 4.2 volt setting, it gives everybody what they want, max MAH, and you don't have to deal with people going, hey, all my batteries don't run as long. Well, change them from 4.1 to 4.2 and all these other things. It just becomes an opportunity for people to complain about the product if you have a lot of settings in it.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think a lot of them just go, no, these people are crazy. Just 4.2.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, Weatherhead does bring up a point, and I don't know if he meant this point, but I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He said, "Are batteries lazy because they don't really want to be used They don't want to be like fully charged. They don't really want to be fully discharged. They just seem kind of lazy.
Well, the American batteries are the laziest. The you get some other ones that are a little bit better. Yeah, it really is.
One, am I right?
Yeah, they like they like that middle range, which is how like all the electric vehicles work, how the cars work. You know, they might go from like 30 to 60% or 40 to 60%, just this little tiny range, and that's how you get 10,000 cycles out of it, because you're just going instead of wham, wham, wham like we do.
Right. And that's, I think, if anybody's been vaping long enough, that you know too, right? You can see, because it sounds. I'll be perfectly honest. If I step back and I ignore the fact that we've in this room we've got 723 years of vaping experience, if I pretend that we don't for just a minute, if I heard you saying that, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like, oh, it's a rechargeable battery, man. I'm going to throw it back in there. It's going to be back at 4.2, and I'm just going to use it. But if all that experience comes back now, if you have been vaping for a while, you know that as you tax a cell over a few months, if you're paying attention, like if you're mindful of your equipment, you can tell that battery is now no longer getting as much charge out of one cycle anymore as you used to.
Yeah.
That's knowledge you only get with 400 plus years of vaping experience.
Yeah, and there's no reason though. Well, if you take a lot of reasons actually, but if you're taking care of them, 2-3 years, I still have all the batteries I bought when I started vaping. 3 years, just over. So it's you can make them last, but it's just how hard you're using them.
I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive I've still got my Orbtronics from my Duke. I'm almost positive I still have my Orbtronics.
I still have them. I still have them, and I still use them because I put them. I use them in a flashlight. Because the flashlight that I use requires the button tops. So
that's a great secondary use for the cells. Like, if you've got whatever you're using and, it just only runs for like 2/3 as long as it used to. Get a good flashlight and get another 5 years out of the thing.
I got the exact same ones, and they are still running just fine.
Damn.
They don't get worn, nothing. I mean, they run, they run great.
And I'm glad I opened this up because I've been looking for these.
Is there even any mods nowadays that use button tops?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Has a ZNA recent?
Somebody was just asking me. Well, those people who want to stack 18 350s in a 2700 mod, the button tops would be good for them because it'd be stackable. I'm actually going to be doing a video on that. I've been getting that many requests about it.
Is that right?
Who tweet? Someone just released an 18350 mech. I forgot who. But everyone just asking me, okay, what's the best? What's the best? I'm like, I have no idea. I haven't tested an 18350 in a couple of years. So that's next month.
I've actually got a very related question for you. That was literally when I pulled that battery box out.
Your camera's off too.
Yeah. I turned it off so I could rummage around for just a moment. So the other day I was actually looking for something, and I went in my corner where I've got a pile of just shit in the corner, just stuff, right? And I found this very innocuous looking photos, and I opened it up and I found my Triple T. Yay! I found my Triple T. Now the neat thing about Triple T is it's a hybrid mech. This whole thing, by the way, is a mod. And the reason it's so small is because
half a sausage long.
It is half a sausage long. The reason is it takes
18 100s,
240s. Yeah.
Wow.
So the reason I brought this up is because, and this is the extreme example. The other reason is for 350s, and the reason because you just brought up the 350s, right? A lot of the battery chargers I've been told can't take a 350. Like the contacts are a little too wide.
I'm bumping into ones that are a little too really floppy, really loose with 350s. Like the string is barely engaged.
So I was going to ask you about these little monkeys and how safe they are.
Oh,
because this is what a buddy when the guy that sent the Triple T mod to me, he sent me two of the ridiculous little batteries, but he sent me these little guys.
The X-Stars come with those.
Yeah, I think one of the chargers come with that, so you can this way.
I mean, done carefully. There's nothing inherently
just put a couple of quarters.
Just do it carefully.
And I've heard other people say that they use magnets as spacers and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, at least that's held in place a little bit.
That's right.
To put a magnet on there.
This one you do need to balance it a little bit and put it on the negative side, right? Don't jam little rods. Yes. Yeah, no posts. No pokies.
Things at the positive end.
No pokies on the positive.
Nothing that goes directly to the electronics, please.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's what I was going to ask you about. Is those little bridges or whatever you want to call them, right? Spacers.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that, but if you get all the magnets, preferably magnets, with a rubber ring around it, because then it can't. It's harder for it to slide around and move around. It's easier to place, but most of them are just raw magnets. But ones with like an 18650 size ring around it would be perfect.
Cool. Okay.
Or, 18 millimeter rings. Either.
So that question that I just asked everybody is something that you could ask if you were a member of Mooch's Patreon. That's the kind of things that he will address gladly when you have technical questions like this. So the reason So with that little segue, the reason I brought that up is because us, we have been joking about the whole Patreon thing for, I don't know, a millennia. As soon as all the vaping bigwigs started going to it, we were cracking jokes at it. And I think that's still a valid thing to crack jokes at, because if we're honest, I think vaping YouTube people are fine. They're great. I enjoy doing it myself. And if somebody chooses to do this for a living, more power to them, right? But we still make the jokes. But that said, if there's anybody, in my humble opinion, if there's anybody in this community that deserves to do the work and be paid by Patreon to put out information, it's got to be the Battery Mooch.
The most thankless man in the industry right here.
That's right.
Thank you.
So I'm going to put his Patreon inside chat in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Well, he and Alex Clark are the top two in my book.
That's right. But he gets paid through Casa. He's got his own Lamborghinis, Foo.
Yeah. Yeah, the pushback.
Can you imagine Stefan driving the Lambo with that goddamned hat?
Yes. What was that about pushback? What did you say?
It's starting to get the pushback on the Patreon thing and everything.
Is that right?
Yeah. Of course. And, more haters are building up, and probably then best if you don't become a patron. You'll just be angry at yourself.
Right.
So it's I don't know.
This didn't happen on ECR, did it?
No, this mostly through Facebook.
I was going to say, you're too universally beloved on ECR.
Well,
not a lot of people like that on ECR.
Is that the right link? There we go.
People get ravaged.
To me, and this is just my take on it. When you've been giving something away for as long as you have been and doing it for free, requesting that people maybe kick you a couple bucks here and there, it's hard. It's hard to get off that free teat.
Well, it's not even, none of that money even goes into my pocket. It's all done so I can take off my day job.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not making any money off of anything that comes out of Patreon. It's just replacing an income source so I can do what I'm doing full time.
And right now, not slave through the day and then come home at night and give all your time at night.
It gets tired playing 4D chess all the time. He's like, yo, I just want to play 3D chess for a little while.
I think this month it's 13 days for my patrons full time. Actually started today, and they get to tell me what to test. So we got some mech mods coming and some catching up on some stuff. And next month they tell me, whatever number of days it ends up being. If it grows, great. If not,
how many people do you have on there? Do you know? What are you up to?
It's somewhere around 350 or something. We're halfway there. In terms of being able to, say, okay, this pays all your bills. You can take off work full time. It's kind of hard halfway in the middle here because I have to schedule back and forth constantly with the other guys who I give the work to. It's better, all this or all that. But, I knew there'd be a transition period. And then we'll see what that turns into. And then it's just keeping the patrons, coming up with something worthwhile. It's, they get advanced battery notice, availability, advanced testing news. They get to tell me, I'm their bitch. They get to tell me what to test. And if that's enough, that's worth a couple bucks a month. Great. If not, everyone gets to see all my test results anyway.
Wait,
it's all still posted publicly.
So you're at the behest of your patrons. So if I give more money than your patrons combined, could I get you to hook up a car battery to your nipples or?
Everything's negotiable. Poop. I mean,
my free Mooch cams, I'm with it.
Yeah, I'll get a Chatterbait channel, and you're the only one with the password.
And only I get the token sound.
Only tokens. Only tokens from Ahmed.
Gross.
This is the start of a very fruitful relationship.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I played Masked. I played one of the mass mods, the capacitance test switch Squonker.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this with the Wasp Nano? It's actually a pretty cool little device. Its safety is its capacitance activated. So if it's in your pocket, you press the button, nothing happens. But if you have thin gloves or your skin, and as soon as you touch the button, the safety's turned off, and now you can activate.
Well, I can already tell you. I can already tell you right now that wouldn't work down here.
What about? Yeah, I was gonna say what about moisture?
Yeah, you know, swamp ass and hitting the corner of your
gloves in Florida.
Yeah,
well,
it's still gonna activate.
You gardening while you're wearing gloves.
It depends on the contact, because I use capacitance switches for some of my chargers and other stuff, auxiliary power units and stuff that I do for outdoor use. And the technology now, you can be pouring a bucket of water over it, and it's still going to detect your finger press and not finger press in that stream of water. So it really depends which generation of switch you're doing. But that's been a high priority for a lot of these capacitance switch developers, the algorithms, to pick up that change, even with tons of water, grease. Like if you push through a 1/4 inch of grease or something, it'll still pick it up. So they've gotten better, but you could be right. I haven't given this one brutal testing. I just like the Lumite body because you can't see juice on it.
Right.
It's fingerprint free.
Yeah, I think a way you could test that it would be if you something thin like a not so much like a shop rag, that's probably too thick, but something that's still like cotton or a mix and wet with like salty water. And then try to like sweat.
Well,
I'm just thinking
a plant sprayer kind of thing too. So you get water droplets on it, but not not running water into the board kind of thing.
I honestly I think spraying like a spray of water like that, I don't think it would activate it, but I'm wondering if
it could fool the finger though.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes if you get the water on it, the chips go, oh, the finger's on me continuously, and it sits there going, okay, I'm turning off. And now when you touch it with a finger, it doesn't turn on because you've hit the the time limit on it.
Yeah.
But those are older generations. I'll find out. So far, I'm interested.
That's cool.
Real quick, clean AF coils.
Very strong magnets.
Oh wow! Yeah. Clean AF coils is asking about the Hussar RDA. I've got one right here. That is often parked in one of my mods. I'm a huge NAR fanboy. The Narda, massive fanboy of that, but this is one of the very few that come close. I think, in my opinion, the Haku is really close, but it's got a little too much air for me. I mean, some people might like it because it doesn't have a lot more. It's just got a little bit more than I particularly prefer. But the Hussar RDA is really pretty solid if you're after one, and they're usually in stock. Like you can find them usually at Vape Art, which is nice. That's not normal with most of these nicer RDAs. So back to what you're saying a minute ago, Mooch. What was the switch on that? What mod was that with the capacitive switch?
Mass mods. They're CS Squonker.
Okay.
They sent me one to play with a Wasp Nano, which I like. A nice low profile Addy, which I like. And
the Wasp gets universally pretty good press for the price. That's a pretty solid Addy apparently.
And with the hotter weather, I've been going to lower and lower power, cooler and cooler vapes. In fact, I'm playing around with these.
What the fuck is that in your right hand?
What is that?
I thought there was a dry erase marker.
Yeah, let me tell you, for stealth vaping, the Digiflavor U pen, and it's even got the clip to act. You just clip it on your pocket. Boy, for like a movie theater or something.
They had an Ego T like that back in the day. And
then just a Breeze too, which I'm hearing nice things about. But in summer I like a cooler vape, fruit, touch of mint. I don't want a mouthful of boiling hot vapor on a 90-degree day with a ton of humidity.
Oh, that shit's it was like smoking a cigarette on a muggy day. No.
So it's just starting to think, okay, let me start playing with a couple of these things, and then the pen, I just like the whole idea of it. It's got the weight on it too, but I don't know, maybe middle juice. And why am I smelling a whole lot of burnt?
Uh-oh. That's not okay.
Let me just make sure that's coming from somebody else's fireplace or something.
Yeah,
Smells like burning.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Go. We don't want to lose Mooch live. That would not be all right.
That is definitely nothing you want to hear coming from that man's mouth.
No, this is
Definitely a whole lot of burn.
I guess this would be a great time to address that question that was just in there a minute ago, but I interrupted Booch instead for clean half coils. The next thing was Sick Boy said it. I can spend over $200 on a mod, but can't bring myself to spend over $100 on an Addy. That, to me, in my opinion, is the exact wrong way around. I like a nice mod, absolutely, but if you want a good vape, the Addies were to spend your money every time.
Because you could make a great Addy work great on a shit mod.
Yes. You can put, if you put a Skyline or a K-Fun 5 or a Squape, you can put that on a $20 shitty Chinese mod and it'll vape pretty damn well. Now, granted, as soon as you then you bump up your mod to like a DNA regulated something or an SX one, right, with a good board. So there's a little bit of incremental, but even after you get that, once you get like a decent DNA or other board that you like, then there's no reason to ever upgrade your mod for performance-wise.
Like,
anyway.
what would you rather be relegated to using though? Like an Anakin mod or something, like a crappy Chinese regulated mod, or a subpar Addy, like a China Addy? You'd rather
yeah, exactly. If I had to pick a good one, it would always be the Addy first, every time, no hesitation. And then the thing about the mod though is there is that big step of some cheap ass crappy regulating board or a poorly performing mech. There's that, and then there's one big step up to a well-performing mech and a really good regulating board. Then after that, the mod's nothing but appearance after that, right? Ergonomics, what it looks like, whatever. But you're not really going to get much more performance out of your mod. It'll always be your build, it'll always be your Addy, your mod, and build, or Addy, build, and mod, right? The mod is definitely not number one, in my opinion.
Shane Hammond says, "You mean the better the mod, the better the flavor?" Yes,
to a certain extent. Right? I mean, because if you've got a fucking what was that old mod, the one that Smock put out, the Magneto, right? The thing with the freshly charged battery was putting out like maybe 3.8 volts. I mean, there's something to be said about buying a reasonable well performing mod, whether it's regulated or not. But after that, it's pretty much the atomizer.
So Mooch,
welcome back, Mooch. Wait a minute, are you safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been someone lighting a match or something else on my window, or someone walked past my window. Because I can't find the smell anywhere now.
Well, so that mod that you showed, is it I mean, if you've had it for long enough, so it retails for like around $245, $250. Is it the Illuminide 3D print? Is that what it is? And it's got the aluminum doors? Okay. Yeah,
good thick aluminum doors. Like really, it may be hard to see here, but and the magnets that can pick up a dog by the collar. So it's so far I'm liking it.
Dogs.
The magnets actually pull the battery out of the mod. That's about the only thing when I'm changing that. But it's a nice unit. I like the feel in the hand, even though it's boxier than I normally like. For some reason, it just fits. And what's really weird is it's light and heavy at the same time. It feels really, really sturdy, but it's light. And I think I'm wondering if they're doing it because of the print and then the thick aluminum doors. Something. I think it's the balance. Yeah, it's something that works out that makes you feel it's really, really sturdy, and it is, I think. But without being really heavy, and nice. It'll be part of my mech testing to see the voltage drop through it. That, and I think I only have one other unregulated device. All the rest are pure mechs. And see what it does.
Speaking of mods, can we talk about mods for just a moment? I have one I'd like to show you that you may or may not have seen a couple of weeks ago. Did you see this thing?
Holy crap! I might have seen an Instagram picture or something, but whoa, that looks like something I'd invite my girlfriend over for.
So here's the thing with this one, right? It's got the little, like a little enclosure thing up top, right?
Oh, this mod.
This is the here. Let me click on myself. So
you had this on last week's show or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, this is the one I threw away.
Oh, I was shaking my head.
So you'd think this would go in here, right? It's positive up to have some amount of protection, but it doesn't. If you put it in there, it locks up. You have to put it in this way so that, you know, it's just a tray, right, that it's sitting on. I mean, there's a lip, but it's like maybe 1.5 millimeters.
Looks like a chicken bone.
Yeah, it does look like
it really does.
So, I mean, for those that don't know, that's the positive end of a battery, the high discharge battery. That little white insulator right there is all that's separating the two sides, right? You got angry pixies coming out of this one, and you're negative on the side, right? And there's not much of a joint between the two, and that's why there's the top cover and their insulator and all that sort of stuff on there. I personally, so this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree or whatever, because you're obviously more educated on the matter. But to me, having that positive end exposed and having the battery as the switch.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. You can figure out why they did that. You know, it makes things a lot easier in some ways, but it assumes a lot of things on or puts the onus on the owner,
right,
to be ever more careful. And yeah, and that, I guess that's what they aimed it at. You know, not only an experienced vapor, but a knowledgeable vapor,
right,
who says, okay, yeah, every single day, every single time, I'm going to be aware of this thing. What is it? Form over function.
Yeah.
The epitome of form over function.
That's right. Yes, I am. That was an AVE reference, by the way. Absolutely, chat was just talking about that. Yeah.
Oh, the pixies.
Is this thing a piece of shit? Yeah, this is not a Skookum Chucher. I would not personally recommend this at all. No. So, oh, by the way, I did pull this out of the trash because I did throw this in the trash. I pulled it out because I was told that I'm getting a part in. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know where it is because I haven't got it yet. But I was told I was getting a part to replace the lock. So then at least I would have a functioning lock on this thing. And I figured just for sake of...
Could they send you a button too?
Maybe some way of protecting the fucking battery that's just hanging out in the breeze.
No, just spray some Windex on it.
I don't even think Windex would help this, man.
You should bite your tongue.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me click on Matthew because he's got an important message still circling on his screen.
He's been scrolling that for like a minute.
No, I said he's still got. I saw it earlier, but I haven't focused on him, so I'm going to go ahead and focus on him for a minute.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/BatteryMooch.
Right there.
Yeah, Motherhead and I both bought one. He said we paid $80 for that slab of shit. Yeah, there was definitely some thing. I think the idea is fine, but you've got to protect that battery better. There's got to be some way that a dime can't slip in there or something.
Well, it's funny. I was just thinking, people put their mods in their pockets, and most other mods, you're not thinking, I got to worry about change finding its way in or a key or something like that.
Thankfully for me, the only harm to my mods are the slew of grocery receipts that stack in my back pocket.
Whatever that chemical leaching off of them or something. What is that one that comes off the thermal rolls now?
I don't know. Is there a yummy chemical that comes off of the thermal printing stuff?
Yeah, it's also like one of the highest concentrations you can find on the planet off the.
My left butt cheek is doomed.
Is it BPA?
Off the rolls of the paper?
That's the shit in water bottles, right?
Yeah, the thermal paper, the thermal receipts is one of the highest concentrations of, I think it was BPA.
I only have one in my pocket.
Wow.
Honey, quit licking the receipts.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's like, I mean, they're actually saying, like, do not handle your receipts that come off of these things.
Well, and it's funny, too, because I think the industry is trying to do whatever it can to make receipts completely now disappear, because now you can't handle them. So now you just gotta try to and you have to keep them in a hermetically sealed, cryogenic chamber so they don't fucking disappear. A year goes by and you try to look at this receipt from Home Depot. What the fuck was? I don't even know. Where's the receipt? Right there.
Well, it's actually a conspiracy to make you go to smart chips, so all the guys who walk around with the smart chip readers in the subway have more targets to pick off.
Look at what you bought.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Shane said, I hate to look at the battery exposed. I think it's retarded. I actually agree with you. When I saw the picture and I X1'd on this X1 mod, it had a black wrapped battery on it. So it looked like a battery tube. I had no idea that it was an exposed battery.
Exposed darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. So in my defense, it was either I didn't do the proper research or it was somewhat not exactly terribly clearly represented.
Well, what did you say? $80?
It was $80. It was cheap,
Okay.
but
at least it's not a $400, you know, who knows what, built in a Scandinavian.
Oh, dude,
the
show would have been ablaze for
weeks.
We've gone full cloud maker.
Yeah. We would have been. I would have been raising some fuss. As it stands, I did raise it to their attention. I told the guy the group buy guy, I told him that didn't think it was safe, and here's why. And here, this thing, by the way, is fucking broken. And he said, "Well, I can help you with the broken thing." So we'll see if that ever comes to light.
Angsty
William's calling me cheap.
Angsty would have built his own. Would have built the crucifix himself for crucifixions.
Would have.
I
would have. Then again, I'm not spending that much money on a modder that I don't know.
So did you guys see the post about in Arkansas the sheriff's requesting to sell e-cigs to inmates?
I did. Yeah.
Oh.
So did you read through it?
A few days ago, right? Didn't that come out a while back?
No, this one's posted 14 hours ago.
Oh shit!
I don't know if it was
maybe it's a new one.
Covered. Yeah, May 14th is the article date at 1 a.m. So
wow, granted black market and juice in a prison.
Yeah, well, so what they're saying is that
a flood of the names just flew through my head. None of them were pleasant. Sorry, Master.
Yo, man, you got that fluid?
They're saying that the cost is going to be like $9.32 each for non-flavored and $9.44 for menthol and mixed berry flavors. They're saying that they're amongst the most popular items offered in the commissary. And
so wait, they're planning to give batteries.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Not only that, but you're going to give them plastic.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any metal. I don't. The picture of it. It says it's similar to the one that they're going to provide. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It says the sheriff's office planned to use a $2,500 stipend to purchase electronic cigarettes specifically made for jails and prisons. Gilbert described it as a pilot project with a small monetary investment. They haven't determined the price the inmates would have to pay for them. The money raised would go towards replacing the $2,500 initial investment. So it looks like they have encased the whole thing in epoxy.
Oh, so, just a hard, not a tube, but an actual
something you could shave into a shiv.
Yeah, with an explosive core.
Someone's gonna get sodomized with the Manhattan mod. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Well, you stab the guy, and then he touched the two wires in the back, so it blows up inside of him.
So he's saving all of his batteries from all of his Cigalikes. He just wires them together.
Yeah, 4,000 volt stun gun from 2 years worth of Cigalikes.
Yeah. Hey, these are the Ultra Fire. This has got the Ultra Fire batteries in it.
Yeah, I like the idea, but I think a year from now, there are going to be some problems.
Some cool Fire 2s.
Yeah, here's what it looks like. They say it's going to look like this.
Like a
the inmate
zoom in a little bit.
See, I want to sit in a restaurant with that thing where everyone can see what I'm vaping.
Sig for inmates.
Yeah, it looks like a heroin needle or something. It looks weird.
It does. It's like all LiPo battery on one end.
On one end, yeah. I don't see.
Wow,
looks like you pop the top off and snort that shit out.
Well, I'm thinking that the ammonia inhalants. You take the light bulb, you crack it in half, and you throw it at a guard.
And some people are saying,
what if the guard is Mooch?
Jobs are hard enough without having to distinguish between cigarette smoke or vapor. Are we seriously saying we're concerned about their withdrawal symptoms or just trying to turn the detention center into a revenue generator? So anyway, so there's a few different views, but it's kind of interesting. They said that the I'll put the link in chat. They said the money from the commissary goes into the county's general fund, and the commissary raised $101,000 in 2016 and close to $140,000 in 2017. Some items sold in the commissary.
It's been running for a couple of years?
No, this is they're just talking about the money that the commissary brings in, and they're saying that it could go through the roof if they start, having these e-cigs for sale. And they said that some of the items that are popular and sold are coffee, candy, ramen noodles, chips, and pillows. And so it's interesting. And if anybody else knows of any other pictures of what these might look like, put them in chat. And this was from the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
That's actually a pretty cool idea. I'm hoping.
I'd be very sad if someone died over a bottle of Cutwood. Just saying.
Yeah,
might be 5 parts.
So,
that
Hey, Massey, that domain does not look like that does not look like what it's supposed to be.
If I could get
to NWA online,
I think
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to like the first riot picture where someone's holding up a bottle of mass tea or something, screaming at the top of the lungs.
No. This guy with the beard.
Wait, Massey, where's this? Where's the picture?
Well, isn't
Oh, yeah.
Isn't like Dr. Grimmy's juice made in prison or some shit?
Well, now or before?
Yeah.
Before.
You got to be specific.
Well, now maybe they got moved to a Supermax. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that, that plays out, because or who's going to be able to, is it going to be free to everybody, or
Could we do vape conventions in prison?
You can do some real crucifixions in there.
Put one vendor in each cell, to bunk
yeah,
up
I know,
somebody.
right?
No, I can find guys to
Don't
help
give
me
any
do
ideas.
crucifixions. That's what I can do.
Don't give people ideas, Ahmed, because these certain folks out there will run the next convention in the jail
Well,
cell.
they're being privatized, so
All I'm saying is, Mast, I can find guys who would help me carry out crucifixions.
True.
Yeah, you could.
True.
Twin knee crucifixions.
So I did get some vape mail this last week.
Oh, did you know?
Hang on, Hanksy, one second, because I just came across something about this. So it says, this person writes, I read and watched some videos on these things. They're pretty interesting. First, they're flexible, not hard. Second, they have all sorts of safety features you'd want in prisons. Transparent, so you can hide anything inside of one of them. Tamper-proof tapes. 3-second cutoffs, so you can use them so you can't use them to start fires or burn people. Barcoded, so you can't steal someone else's. Well, you can still steal them, but it's a deterrent. And let's see.
I think I'm getting dizzy from my Patreon message.
These are having the equivalent of 1.5 to 2 packs of usage. They're saying,
what's it, like 18 milligram or something? 25 milligram are they? Or?
Yeah.
My question is, how do they have a flexible lipo?
Maybe it's a cartridge.
Maybe it's made of jelly.
So.
Well, they didn't say you could bend it more than once. They just, without consequence. It's just flexible. It explodes.
Well, you know how you keep someone from taking yours? You put nana cream in it. That's what you do.
Yeah, sealed ends and second layer protection.
Cinnamon menthol.
Obvious. That's interesting.
Sorry, I just really do not like nana cream. Tootin'. I'm just tootin'.
Yeah, they gotta be able to bend that tube and pop that battery. I mean,
it's too small. Not
be
bendable, unless it's unless the lipo is 1/8 of an inch big inside that thing,
right?
Inside that pen thing, and
where it won't let it.
And that would be flexible, actually. The really, really long, thin lipo, you could actually, I can see some flexing on it.
What if it's being powered by the will of the inmates?
There's another.
They don't tell you about the bicycle you have to hook up to it. What was that picture?
Interesting.
There you go.
That's from the company Smoke Crossbar is the name of the company that's making these. I'm trying to find.
So what's that? Is that a battery slid down into a clear tube on the bottom?
I think so. With a Fat Daddy sticker on the end. Shit.
Oh, look at the time.
Shit. My bad. But here's what they're advertising it with.
I really want to play with one of those.
Yeah, here's what they have. So let's see. So it says the barcode, the end is sealed, tamper obvious tape, Fat Daddy, individual serial for tracking.
That is the battery inside the tube, but it could be epoxy.
Yeah.
You know, embedded in epoxy.
Right.
Oh, Mass,
and
you know what? If you embed the battery in epoxy in a plastic tube, you're just not going to bend it far enough until you bend it all the way to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, obviously they know you can pop the ends off. That's why they're putting the stickers on it. So, you know, hey, you want to keep smoking e-cigs? Then let's check the sticker ends,
I would love to play with one of those, but there's just no way you're getting samples to an individual.
Yeah.
On this episode of Mooch Goes to Prison, scared straight.
Just for a day. I just want to be held overnight at Rikers, and I'll see if I can get one.
Just for a vacation.
Yeah, I would not do well in Rikers. Yeah, that would.
What up, Fresh Meat?
Apparently, they're saying that just the morale boost is the biggest thing, by allowing them to have the nicotine and
shit! I'm not allowed to breastfeed if I'm using it.
Yeah,
watch. There's going to be a fucking cloud comp, and it's going to induce a riot, and then they're going to take away
the. No, it's the whatever Parents for Cigarette-Free America, whatever the heck it is. They'll come in and go, ah.
Well, I'm gonna send these guys a contact message and be like, "Yo, can we test one of these?"
Yeah. We'll buy it. That's fine. You don't even get it. That's fine.
We host a very popular internet television show.
So
subscribers.
They have like large distributors, Charm Tech, Canteen Services, Kimball's Commissionary Service. So it's geared definitely towards.
Maybe if we get 100 of them, an MOQ, hit the MOQ, they'd sell to anybody maybe.
Either that, or we can just start looking for jail cell styled device on Fastec and.
I'm gonna send the incoming door to prison. Anybody,
I mean, our 2.5 hour shows are kind of like being in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it when you read my mind, Phil.
Got you, fam.
That's right. Shane said, "Do you know who we are? You may have heard of us. Dozens of people have
on
heard
this
of
bottle."
All right. Is there anything more of the crime vape?
Nope. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. So I did get some mail this last week. It was not vape mail. I know. Everybody called it.
Oh, right, that thing, that ting.
So you may or may not have remembered. I don't know if I've ever shown it on the show or not, but one of my favorite things, and I have a couple favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. This is my pocket knife that I've been carrying for a very long time, probably about a decade. This is made by a guy named last name is Graham. This is his collaboration with Tashi. This is the Midnight.
There's a butter knife.
Yeah. So this has been my baby for a long time. This has gone a lot of places with me, and over the last long time, because basically when I leave the house, I don't leave the house without a knife, unless I'm getting on a plane. But I finally, after a long time of looking, found a Razel GT, which is the gentleman's tactical version. And most of his GTs are kind of a little artsy fartsy for me. They're like a little whatever, but I found one that matches this, and that is right now.
Oh
my god, it's like a baby gram noodle.
So this guy is awesome. Plus, it's left-handed, so the frame lock is actually on the other side.
Fucking Ned Flanders.
It was fucking perfect. It's like it was made for me. It is so cool. So I did find this. I was super excited about it. I picked it up, and in order to deal with this, I went ahead and jumped in and bought something that I've been meaning to do for a really long time. So I have been using one of these forever. This is a Spyderco Sharp Maker for a sharpener. And basically, this thing's pretty straightforward. It's kind of a triangle-y kind of shape. You got you got two different kinds of grit rods, and they plug into here and they stand up in kind of a V, and it makes it really easy to find your bevel, your edge. But since I got a new kind of a fancy knife, I went ahead and bought a real big boy Japanese whetstone, and that is it's back here. And I also bought a holder for it.
Those things are like you can buy a car or one of those stones.
Yeah, no. So this one's actually really inexpensive. That's why I brought it up, because I know there's some knife hobbyists that watch the show, and I want to talk about it a little bit because I actually did go through and use it quite a bit. This is a combo. This is a KDS. It's a combo 1,000 and 6,000 grit stone. Most of the stones you start paying like serious money for, right? You just get one grit, and it's usually got either steel or glass on the bottom. This one is a combo stone. I went ahead and did that just for my first one, just because it was well reviewed, and I thought I'd give it a whack. This thing's awesome. When you get this thing wet and you start polishing your bevel that you've already made on the 6,000 side, it's the tactile. If you're one of those people that like tactile sensations, right? You like touching things and feeling different things with your fingers, right? This surface is amazing. Drag a knife across of it. It's like clay, but like the finest little hiss when you pull a well polished knife across it. Oh, it's so cool. Anyway, I had a blast with this last weekend. The first thing that I did was I practiced on a couple of my paring knives, like
can you do that again? Can you show that stone and rub on it again?
My mind's telling me no.
But my body. When you flip it over, it's when it does that.
But my body.
That's the brown side.
So this thing was super sweet. I did practice on a couple of my cheap paring knives before I pulled out the nicer sort of blade to give that thing a whack. This thing was a lot of fun, and I think I should put the link out. Maybe I should put the link out.
Do you do a water soak first, or what do you do?
Yeah, it's a water soak. So it's not like it's not one of the ones that you basically store in water. The bottom is like a 10 or 15 minute soak on the rougher grit. The top of it's kind of a splash and go. You don't have to soak it at all, but you can definitely do it for a little while, and that's okay. And that's all I did to it. It was really easy to use. It was no muss, no fuss, and it was fun to learn something new, right? Like, so I mean, growing up, you know, when the Boy Scouts and all the stuff that a lot of guys did a long time ago when you're younger, I did learn how to hone an edge on a flat stone, but I've never tried to sharpen something and like re-bevel something on a stone before. So it was definitely something that I kind of had to get my mind around, and then kind of, you know, get some muscle memory going, you know, when I was trying to.
It's a real rhythm. Have to. And every knife is completely different, and having to bid, you know, different knives at different bevels, and you're like, oh wait, was this the 23 degree or the 14 degree or whatever?
Yeah. So one of the guys that I've watched on YouTube, and actually another guy too, most of the guys that are like super nerdy about this kind of thing, they actually don't get like they don't get too obsessed with like the actual angles. They do it by feel. And they've kind of described it of how to, you know, lay the blade flat down on the stone and then pull up and slowly pull towards you until you feel it. Sorry, you pull up and then start lowering it and pull it towards you until you feel it get slippery. And when you feel it get slippery, that now you are on the other side of that edge. So you just want to raise it just a little bit, and that's your angle. And you just kind of stick with it. So unless you're trying to re-bevel something and put a different primary bevel on, or something that you probably are not going to be doing when you're first starting, you could do it a lot by feel, just by trying. And I think that was, I don't know, I enjoyed learning something new, and I figured I'd talk about it a little bit. This guy, let me go get the link. I'll go get the link while somebody else talks for just a minute.
That stuff fascinates me because I have quite an investment in kitchen knives. So, but I went to the separate stone. Sort of every year you buy another stone when you know, Santa Claus comes up, and you know, in 5 years you finally set up. But you know, the difference between like, you know, the German knives and the Japanese knives and the different angles, or you get a single bevel Japanese knife or something like that, and you're just like, whoa, wait, oh shit, okay, you know, different angles and stuff. Otherwise, you just boom, ruin a really nice.
Yeah, you could definitely wreck it real quick. That's for sure. And that's what the cool thing about doing it by feel is you won't, because you'll feel that, right?
Right. And that's
that knife, and then
wasn't doing often enough to ever get in that routine. I ended up just taping a little piece of paper with the angles in the box. I pull out the stone. I'm like, oh yeah, this knife is.
So what do you suggest for sharpening your kitchen knives? Do you just take them somewhere if you've never done sharpening on the stones?
If you want to do this, by the way, this is the King. I didn't say that a minute ago. It's the King KDS 1000 6000 combo, and it's $57. It's not too much. It's not too much.
Whoa, that's what I pay for one stone.
Yeah. That's the thing is it's actually one of the lesser expensive. But this nerdy knife guy, his name is Ricky. That I was watching. What's the name of the channel? Perfection. He's kind of a nerdy guy, whatever, but yeah, it's definitely
pretty clever, actually.
It's a good pun. But that was one of the ones that he recommended as kind of a surprisingly good stone. That's a reasonable amount of money that you don't have to pay $100 for one stone. You get two, and it's only $57 or whatever. It's not too bad. So in order to answer your question, Masty, the other thing you can do is drop $50 on one of these.
Yeah, that's
the Sharp Maker is amazing. It's so easy to use. It's not. You won't get an edge on this that you can get on a stone like this with some practice, but you can get a very good edge. And this is basically all I've used for a long time, for a very long time. This thing works great. For quick and dirty.
They're pretty great too.
Yeah, because we got some Jan Henkel's kitchen knives, and they're nice, but they need sharpening. So
just don't buy the brand name electric ones.
No, God, no. Yeah.
What are the ones that have the fucking spinning, like, wobbly stone in it?
You only buy those if you hate everything about your knives and cooking. That's the only reason.
Great if you want this big curve cut out in the blade of your knife.
It just fucking scratches everywhere. You can't cut anything with it. But hey, it's electric and it's fast.
It's electric.
Boogie.
Yeah. Let's see. So and Duro, that's right. It's like a work sharp. That's what I would definitely give to that thing. And now I did get this one even with my first day or my first night of practicing. I got a one where I can take a piece of paper and curve cut and push cut. It's not perfect, but for my first whack at it, it's not bad. It's really not bad. It's super smooth. It's polished. That, like I said, that 6000 grit is just like butter. It's like just smeared across butter. Now the razor, the blade shape of the razor is a little difficult to sharpen because you do have your primary edge, and then you also got the push cutting edge at the top. So then that's another whole position, and trying to figure out how to sharpen this. It's like a double-edged chisel almost. It's not the easiest thing to sharpen. But anyway, so I just want to talk about that for a minute, just because I thought it was cool. Give Ricky a shout out, even though he's kind of a.
What do you recommend for one of these?
Shark Maker.
Shove it.
Hey,
illegal in some states.
Hey, Mooch.
Yo.
Would you be up for joining me in shaming some juice companies?
Let's see what you got.
Masty.
Are we doing this right now?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
You got some material, you might as well throw it down.
Yeah, we didn't do it last week, so
gotta
give the internet what they want. All 14 of you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start because I was not ready.
I'm a little tired.
Oh, Jason Hunt said that his 6K is a king, and he thinks he gave $35 for it. Yeah, that's about right. So
wow.
Those together would be that. And if you're paying more for your blocks, your stones rather, I'm sure, I'm positive that they're better, right?
I don't know. I mean, this is 15 years ago when I got mine, and they're just starting to show wear. So I think they're pretty good blocks. But I think now with just the accessibility we have on the internet now versus 15 years ago, I can go out and find something as good or better for much less. But back then, just no options.
Right. You went down to the old Japanese guy and said, "Hey,
Ahmed, ready for you.
You got something for me?"
All righty.
All right, Ahmed, go.
Oh, who's not ready now?
No, I'm ready. I have it up. Just took me a second to find it.
Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me.
Ventos. I mean, Ventos would be a great name for a mod, wouldn't Mooch agree?
And they have to put vape. Wait, we got to present him. We got to. They had to put the word vape on it so people wouldn't eat it or drink it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just getting the thumbnails.
Oh wow.
Food, talk so I can see it.
Am I not?
Oh
done?
no! It only shows up full screen for me when you talk.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh, colorful, but yeah.
I actually do like the color on the labels.
Yeah, I guess it's
House of
inevitable.
Purple, Royal Nectar.
Hey, so you got him clicked?
It's a really nice label, except that it's a total.
The Wall, A Sign of
thing.
Winter, The Taste of Victory.
Oh no! House of Purple. What? Dragon's Brain. What was the one on the right?
Dragon's Breath.
Breath. Okay. I like Dragon's Brain.
The Wall. Oh wow. Dude, it looks like they even used the background image, just like the same one.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I'm sure the FDA is. Well, if they filed their paperwork, the FDA's got these pictures too. So.
I feel like I've done this one before. I feel like, at the very least, I've seen this one. I've seen this one before.
Oh man!
And I only liked the first movie in that series, but it was brilliant.
Same. The second one was me. They're just pushing it, man. If you ask me.
What are they, like 5 now?
Probably. John Leguizamo needs money, so.
There you go. First one was brilliant.
And that is crucifixions.
Defrost.
Defrost.
Wasn't that the one with the guy with the acorn?
Yeah.
Yeah. a running joke from movie to movie. Yeah, that was
awesome. Got to do crucifixions with Mooch because he does his own crucifying. Boom.
Yeah, but that's only so they call me up later trying to bribe me and I can retire.
You know, I wish that would happen with me.
In 3 years, I've only gotten 2 offers, and you don't respond quickly because you want to take like 3 days to come up with this thing that just makes their souls want to leave their bodies in a response, and it's just. And I look up like Chinese culture on family shaming and things like that. You always want to bring up the shame they brought to their family name, and
Are you a doctor yet?
Oh,
right, talk to me when you doctor.
That's great. That's I love having on a guest that researches how to publicly shame somebody the most effectively.
Yes,
I appreciate that greatly.
Yeah.
Ray Romano now has crippling depression, just like I do. That's what Will just said.
Yeah, I wish I had any really crap. Oh, I don't have them here. They're over there. The black cells. Oh, that's
the black cells.
Yeah, very, very, very popular in Europe. Excuse me, Asia. Just a little bit here, but 3 out of the 4 are getting my lowest possible rating. Do not buy.
Oh dear.
Just a disaster. Now they say they're rewrapping. They're recalling the ones in the market. Yeah, we'll see. They're still getting a do not buy.
Mooch is like, I've seen this episode before.
Yeah, you can rewrap them all you want. If it's a shitty cell, it's a shitty cell.
Yeah, rewraps will take 4 months to work their way through the market anyway.
Right.
So yeah, long story. Almost, since the beginning of the year, actually, on and off with promises and things and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, no. Look, I'm publishing the tests.
Yeah, as well you should. That's good. That's good. Is there anything coming up for you that I know you're planning on doing some lipo testing soon, right? Or have you already done that?
No, I'll probably be buying next month, and we'll see. 18350s buying next month. I got to find out what vapors are using nowadays. What in the 1200 to 1500 range, probably somewhere in there. 3S, and now with the 250C being able to take 2, 3, or 4. Maybe we find the best performing lipo, and then I test its 2, 3, and 4 cell range. Hey, here's a complete 250C kind of thing.
Yeah.
Box modders, maybe have some input on things, and then the rest is a crap load of round cell testing. A lot of shootouts to do because we've had a lot of really good batteries coming to market lately, and trying to sort out VTC 4A, the 6A, the Samsung 20S, 24S, the 30T, the 40T, 50E, 48G, all these ultra high performance batteries, and now we're getting up to 5,000 mAh too for some of them. Start to see which one's the best.
For the
21700s.
1700s, yeah.
The meme batteries.
The meme batteries.
Rick Carr in chat has a good question for you, Mooch. How good are the vape cell batteries?
Well, some are basic rewraps, but they're probably the only company that's consistently getting the top tier cells, and they wrap a few thousand at a time as I can get them. But there's some great batteries, and they haven't pulled any switcheroos yet. I think they realized that'd be fatal business practice. EFES learned that the hard way, and if I understand, they still haven't recovered financially from the shenanigans from a couple of years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know if they actually suffered any ramifications.
Yeah, I from more than one source, I heard they got hit really hard. Like 80% drop, and then was coming back up.
Like their batteries.
Yeah, they were working on that for years, though, kind of thing. I think it's just all coalesced at once. And then I think 18350s, lipos, the mech mod testing, materials, contacts, battery polarity, performance differences, voltage drops, heating, the dielectric greases and conductive greases and things like that. Do they do anything or not? I forgot. I think I have 10 videos just for mechs on my outline.
Right on.
List.
So did you list a couple? Did I hear a couple of the of 18650s in that list?
Yeah, VTC6A is now king of the heap, but they're hard to find.
What's the 6A?
It's a 3000 mAh, essentially a 3000 mAh VTC5A.
What?
Yeah. So it's a 3000 mAh battery.
Angsty's penis right now.
I think I rated it roughly 25 amps, 3000 mAh. If you're running really, really hard, your 5A is still going to be the king from the lower internal resistance. But if you vape down to a slightly lower voltage and you don't have monster voltage sag, then the 6As will last longer because they're higher capacity. They'll hold up their voltage for longer.
So if you're like a 0.5 guy, the 6A is probably the better bet.
0.2 guy, it's still going to be a better bet. Below that, maybe the 5A. The 4A, not as much. Then there's, let's see, the VC7, not VTC7, the VC7, 3500 mAh, 8 amp. But a pair of those, at 40 or 50 watts, 7,000 mAh equivalent. It's a nice little unit.
Hey, shoot me a PM when you find some 6As.
Vapcell,
his inbox.
Vapcell has a rewrap, a purple rewrap. The 3000 mAh, 25 amp Vapcell.
Yeah.
So far, the preliminary test looks like the 6A, but in the next 2 weeks, I'll be doing the formal testing for that one. Then there's the VTC5D, which is somewhere up in the 5A, 6A range, and that's a 2800 mAh. Essentially, it's between like the VTC5A and the VTC6A.
Yeah.
So they're all, for a lot of people, you won't see the difference between the three of them, which is good because then you can buy any of the three or their rewraps. So essentially, it broadens the market because a lot of people complain, all these damn choices and there's no difference. Well, for their actual uses, there is a difference. For electric vacuum cleaner versus a cordless drill, it matters.
Sure.
But for us, it just means more options and more availability. So I always see it as a good thing.
That's amazing. That's really exciting because I have to admit I didn't think I'd see a bump like that in 18650 performance.
And then there's like these, the Samsung 24S. We've got now the 20S, 30 amp battery, 2000 mAh. Big jump from the HP6. The 24S, 2400 mAh, 30 amp, 18650. Those both are going to be tested, OEM versions and the rewraps. And then I've got some lithium ferrous phosphate ones, but that's only for it's a lower voltage chemistry, but it's the safest chemistry, so I wanted to test them. And they're really good when stacked. And then the LG H30 21700, which looks like it might be competition for the Samsung 30T for King of the Hill. I don't know yet, but it's up in that range, 3000 mAh, roughly 35 amps. And
as soon as I get a 2700 mod, that 30T does look pretty tempting.
It's funny. I'm getting feedback now, and Vape and Fagan just talked about it today. People are having to raise the resistance of their builds because they're frying their cotton and their vapes too hot.
No shit.
This is a lot of people talk about the jump up from like the 25 hours of VTC5A and how noticeable it is. Well, the 30T the 30T blows away the VTC 5A, like a fundamental performance difference.
Wow.
In terms of how hard it hits, how long it hits, etc. And people are like, yeah, I have to raise my resistance. I'm burning my cotton.
That's interesting.
Really which just lowers your current, so now the battery lasts even longer.
Sure.
So it's great kind of feedback for performance. And even the 40T, a 4,000 mAh battery, you can still performs better than the BTC 5A. And 4,000 mAh.
Yeah. Well, although it's larger and heavier.
It is larger. Right. But we're seeing the 21700s now that are actually using that size.
Yes.
As opposed to a commodity type performance. I'm sure it's lower cost when you buy 1 million of them. For the big customers, but now we're seeing the higher performance ones come to market, and not too much coming for the rest of the year, other than greater availability. Other than the Samsung, so there's already a 25S and I think 25S. I'm not sure of anything beyond that. That would be up in the 30 amp, 2500 mAh range.
I'm really glad to see it, right? Because that was one of the reasons I pushed back against the meme batteries, as Motherhead called them, because at the time when those batteries were coming out, it was basically a larger, heavier battery, which means you have a larger, heavier mod, and the performance was incremental at best.
Yeah,
it wasn't that much more. There was not much of a point of doing it. But if we're actually going to see like a big step up like that in performance, then at least I can see the argument for wanting or being able to deal with the larger, heavier mod, because you're getting some sort of commensurate, performance out of it.
Benefit, yeah. The 2070C, the new Sanyo, beats the 2700A, which right now is the best 2700. So that's another option, in the middle there. Fun thing. So if you can afford that in terms of size, not cost.
Yes, Motherhead, you get credit for meme batteries. God.
Gotta give that credit.
So just to sort of summarize up, Mooch has got a Patreon. It's patreon.com/batterymooch. Go click on it. Toss a couple bucks in the hat.
Yeah, if you think $2 is worth getting advanced battery notice, testing notice, and have me, supporting my testing and having, telling me what I should test, it'd be fantastic to have a Patreon. If not, everything I test gets posted publicly anyway, so you don't miss on anything. It's just if you want to find out sooner and have a little influence.
I'll give you $5 to test time.
Okay, someone needs to go to bed.
So I do appreciate, obviously, the fact that all that information is still being released to the public at a
he's not setting up a fucking paywall. I know some people like to say that shit, but
walls are expensive.
That's the first thing they say with Patreon is paywall. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's hard to get patrons because I don't have rewards. I can't give away damaged batteries. I don't have mods, so I can't offer much in rewards except, slightly early notice. A time period between testing and writing the report. Well, the patrons find out right away, and everyone finds out when I get the report written.
Well, that's true. But what you're also doing, when the thing that you do get out of it is you're enabling this sort of safety information to be passed on to the general vapor, and also you get the access to that information in a more prompt sort of fashion, right? Up front a little bit early, and you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping a bunch of people out all at the same time, and it gives
you a chance. Let's say I find out the VapCell new rewrap is some miracle new battery. Well, my patrons find out, and if there's only 200 available, the patrons are going to know a day before everybody else and get a chance to buy that battery.
Right. So there's lots of positives out there, but you're right. It's not as clean cut as some channels where you have, free T-shirts and fucking
giveaways.
Batteries.
I know giveaways and stuff.
You can curve people's brims.
There we go. Yeah, this is coming apart. I gotta work on it.
Yeah, dude. So either you can send them hats, or they send you their hats, and then you curve them and send them back.
That's
the key is you got to take it hot.
Idea.
You got to get it out of the dryer when it's hot, and then you just hold it till it cools off.
So. There you go.
Oh boy.
You imagine Mooch's dryer is now full of hats. He's
hats and batteries, to preserve the texture.
Yeah. Use the batteries to bang it and fluff the hats up a little bit.
That's right.
Use the big lipos to fluff up the pillows. Because they love being in the dryer, lipos. That's
that impact and tumbling and heat. Just all good.
Yeah. The rounded corners it gives you, so the batteries, they're sharp.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mooch, for coming on.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Obviously, I thank you everybody for showing up and chatting during the side chat there. If anybody's got any questions, maybe we can post them down below me, and maybe we'll circle back and I'll send those over to Mooch later this week. If you've got anything, a question that you weren't able to make it live here for. But we will be back here next week, same Plumes time, which is roughly 9 o'clock. Same Plumes channel. Thanks, everybody.
Later, y'all.
Peace out.